Uh, I've been thinking about my own memories, um, because I'm experiencing something interesting. I feel like I'm kind of remembering things two ways, I guess, not two different ways. Just I remember, I remember always having the nature I have now, I guess. Um, and I can now remember always feeling like there was something wrong with many of the things I was doing in life, many of my choices, many of my. It didn't really feel like they were my actions. I guess they didn't feel like they followed my basic nature. Well, not all of it, not like that, but I feel like there was a lot of moments in my life where I can clearly remember going against what felt right to me, without anyone telling me otherwise or me really wanting to do the other thing. And I've been wondering about a few things. Like, for instance, do I actually remember anything about life here before I came into this universe? Uh, could we be implanted with wrong memories, or am I simply understanding my nature, I guess, understanding what my nature has always been, uh, and I'm remembering it now. When I'm looking back through my memories, it doesn't feel right because I know I wasn't really following my true nature. And not always. Uh, just instances where I was like the others, I guess. Uh, when I was kind of an ass, or when I accidentally did something to hurt someone. I never intentionally hurt anyone, but the violent thoughts, I guess I never hit anyone, but thoughts that I never felt like were natural to me. Uh, because something that's always been bothering me is that people are so violent. Naturally aggressive, I guess. I've always considered it was because they were controlled by their hormones, that they couldn't, I don't know, just thought I had control over my anger, but maybe I'm not violent, and way too many people are. Maybe it's this world that makes us violent like that, because it's always about hurting others. And again, I'm from Norway. We have it very, very good, and there are very, very few people hurting each other. Uh, and I think that the rest of the world it's literally savage, uh, compared to us in Europe. compared to the lives we live, and I feel like people are violent. What must you guys feel in places where there's actual violence, not just people being kind of mean to each other and being in fights once in a while? Because, well, when you look at violence through the eyes of history, I don't know, it's easier to understand, I guess, because you don't have to really think about the specific being who did the violence and the fact that there were so many of them doing all the violence, but you focus on the event and not the specifics of just violence. And, well, I've never understood why people are so violent. Where does the urge to always hit people come from? It's not even show your dominance, because there are better ways to show dominance than to hit someone. It's very, very, well, we've come further than that, I guess. At least here. Not really gonna show your dominance by hitting someone. You're just gonna make yourself unpopular. And people are still violent. So there's not even any kind of social gain in it. And I don't understand why it's like that. I don't feel like we should be like that. I really don't feel like we should be violent like that. It literally serves no purpose. We're infinite. Why would we care? We don't really. Well, if we remember everything, right, know everything, and we choose to take a body, and we want it to hurt, and we want it to feel good, but that doesn't mean we want to hurt others. Well, at least I don't feel like we should want to hurt others. It's stupid. It's really, really stupid to hurt an immortal being. Just think about it. Do to others what you want them to do to you. Well, if you keep hurting immortal beings, at one point they're gonna get free. And then guess what? They're gonna do the same to you. It seems very stupid, and it seems to go against our nature. Because, well, we can't really escape existing. So we wouldn't want others to be enemies for literally existence. It would be, well, you would have to constantly be on guard so you're not captured and tortured back for what you did to someone else. And you know that it's going on in infinity. So you're not gonna be able to keep someone trapped for infinity, and then they're gonna try to do that shit to you. It doesn't make sense to me. Why would we do things like that? And I think it's this planet. I think it's making us angry. It's not angry. Misery is making us angry. Or, just being angry for things. There's a lot of reasons to be angry, but violent. It's making us violent. At least I think it does. And I think the longer you've been on Earth, the more violent you are, I guess. The longer you've been trapped in the mind control field and everything here, the longer it's been able to corrupt you. Then you get more and more selfish, violent, and angry, I guess. It just doesn't feel natural to me that we should all be so violent all the time. And I feel it would make sense that it's this place. Because I'm very certain that causing pain is not in my nature. It's never been in my nature. I don't even like to jokingly hit friends. So that could simply be me. There's no reason it couldn't just be me, like others don't like violence. But I think like it could be this place. Not knowing when we're in this place. So our bodies take more control, I guess. We believe the bodies are us. So when the body creates hormones for different things, then we believe that matters, and we believe what the hormones tell us. And the longer you've been here, the longer you've been the victim of being in these bodies and being violent, the longer you keep, well, the more violent you get, I guess. Well, you learn with time. I just don't think infinite beings would naturally want to hurt each other because it's stupid to do. Because then others are going to hurt you back. And I think that would be a stupid decision to do. I'm still freaking out about the alien thing though. I'm fairly certain it was an alien ship. It was so bright, so large, and then it was so small, and then it was so large, and then it moved, and I'm very, very, very interested still. I'm wondering if anyone took pictures of it. There's no reason I shouldn't be the only one to see it. Other people might not have been doing something, so they might have actually, opened the window and took a picture. It's really cold, so no one was outside, I promise you that. Well, they could be outside, but it's dark and it's cold. And it's windy. I don't see a reason they should be outside. So, probably from the inside, but I'm just getting more and more certain I saw an alien ship. I can't find any other way to explain it. If you haven't seen the other video, if you haven't seen what I talked about, what I saw, basically a whole 15-minute video. I was seeing a light outside and I thought it was a crane, and it kept going up and down and the amount of light. And then, I don't know, let's say at the 15-minute mark, because I'm not sure. Then it just flew away, and suddenly, well, it couldn't have been a crane anymore, and it couldn't have been a helicopter. It would have had to been really close to make that much light, and then I would hear it. And not only would I hear it, but I would see the other colored lights. That's on the helicopters too. So I'm getting more and more certain that that was an actual alien sighting. Well, I wanted to leave you guys with something I've always found interesting. Now, I've always wanted to understand what it would be like to be God, and I don't mean in the way I'm wondering now. I mean literally wondering what it would be like to be God. You know, when you watch movies or you see God mentioned, and I've always been wondering, what would God do to entertain himself? I've literally been asking myself that question all my life. What would God do to entertain himself? Well, I always found it interesting because religion always talks about God as this being who, watches us masturbate and shit. And I've always been wondering, is that what God is doing to entertain himself? Just watching us masturbate, always watching us. That sounds fun enough, I guess. But I don't know. Why would I care that people follow my rules? That's always been my issue with it. If I'm God and I'm simply watching people to entertain myself, just sneeze. Wow, that kicked hard. That was a lot of sneezing. Well, the nature of God. Well, I'm thinking if God created humanity for entertainment, right? Which is literally the only reason I could find in the Bible for creating humanity. Simply because he wants to do something. Because God is in there. In the Bible, he's an infinite being with literally nothing to do. Because there is nothing. And making people because he's bored makes perfect sense to me, but what doesn't make sense to me is then limiting the people by rules and punishing them for not following them. That would negate the whole purpose of entertainment. Yeah, I'm sure it could be fun to watch some people struggle, but just gonna have a lot of people doing the same boring shit. And I don't feel like that would be good entertainment, I guess. It's I've always just been kind of thinking about it, kind of interested in that question. It's a very hard question to answer. What's the motivation of God? I don't feel like anyone has ever really given me any kind of motivation for God whatsoever. It's supposed to be just good force, uh, just good shit. And when the Old Testament destroys things, but I'm trying to find any. I never found any motivation behind that description, I guess. Just found it interesting that I've always been wondering about the nature of God and why God would do. Again, I don't believe in God. I believe I am and we are a God. So I've been basically wondering all my life what my slash our depends if I'm thinking about me or you or anyone else. What a motivation would be. And well, I can't really find any motivation from any religion, but that's not really point. Point is simply wondering about the nature of an infinite being. How do you wonder about? How do you understand something that understands everything? How can you possibly comprehend knowing everything? It's how can you understand the nature of God if you are nothing? Because, well, this body and everything, it is nothing, and we know so little it might as well be nothing. Because that's in the end what matters, how much we know. And compared to picture of God, we know nothing, and I'm just always been fascinated in what would God do, I guess, or be his motivation for doing things. How is the personality of God? Always been wondering, is it like our personality, simply far more knowledgeable? And I think it's interesting to think about. Yeah, this should be enough. Oh, should be enough. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. That was enough. I don't need to talk about anything else. Peace.